I may or may not be on. It says I'm live on my laptop there. Please do let me know if I am or not. This is a completely new PC which I'm live streaming on for the first time. So all my settings disappeared in the last one, so I've had to hurry through and get everything back up to speed. So please do let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me. The chat room is open to the left of the screen depending on what you're watching me on. Hopefully there's a few folk out there. You are, Lewis, thank you very much. Am I too loud? Am I too quiet? I would love to know. Just because the audio settings are completely screwed up. I have no idea. About 2 minutes ago, I was getting no audio whatsoever. So, thank you for coming along and watching tonight. This is episode 18 and back after a week's break. As last Tuesday I was out of the county. I headed south for the day, taking the delights of Teesside and North Yorkshire moors. Sounding good, excellent. So managed to cobble something together anyway. Excellent, Val, thank you very much. Thank you all for coming along to watch. It may well have ended up being a complete shit show. So it could have been an entertaining one. It still may well yet come to that, but hopefully not. So as I said, I took a week's break last week as I was down south in North Yorkshire moors with Andrew Atkinson and Rob Knight. A very, very pleasant day with them, and it was actually Rob that has donated my new machine to me, so it is significantly better than my old machine. It has taken me nearly a week to get it up to speed and working, and there is still a few teething troubles to address. One of the main ones is to get it Windows properly activated. I just can't seem to get that, but I'll have to actually buy a new key. Excellent, Rob, thank you very much for attending tonight, and again thank you very much for the PC. It is pretty much getting there now, so that's always good. But like I say, all these computers, I know my old one that is now sitting behind me looking very lonesome, is they've all got their nuances. My old one, to the point where you really couldn't switch it off. It had to be on sleep mode when you weren't at it, because it had a tendency of not starting again. So it's lovely having a computer you can actually power down and then not run the risk of you having a broken computer. So that's wonderful, and it's much faster. It's got its own dedicated graphics card. It's not using the onboard stuff. It seems to be quicker. If you look on the Windows index rating, my old one was 4.6. I don't know how it's actually measured, but this one is 7.3, so that's a significant upgrade, which is good. So hopefully, when editing in a few moments or later on, then things will happen much quicker on screen. At the minute, everything seems to be fine. It possibly means that frame rates will be better in these live streams. Certainly CPU usage is a lot better. It's not overheating like my old one, so that's good. So yeah, things is positive and moving up in the world. So yeah, I think we've established that things are working. You can see and hear me, and shortly hopefully you'll be able to see screen and all that kind of stuff as well. If anybody's just come in, chat room is open, so do please chat in there. If you've got any questions, then just fire away. So one of the things I didn't do since the last live stream was the print draw for my print I was giving away for crossing the 500 subscriber mark, and it is for this print here of Harbottle Castle. This is edition 1 of probably 20, I think I'm going to do. So you will have number 1 if you were in the draw, and what you had to do was comment on the last live stream within the time limit. So I was going to do it out of my Mankey cap, but I think I've left it at the cricket club from Saturday night. So so as I've been building a PC, then all the entries are in said box. So I'm going to run the risk here of drawing this live on air. So without looking, if you were in, if you got your name in. So no looking, I've selected one. Put that box down without destroying everything. And the winner is Tony Pedley. So congratulations to Tony. You may be watching. If not, do please message him. So Tony, just messages and I'll get your address off you, and I'll get that into the post to you soon. I'm not putting actual dates on it because I've actually got to get to a post office. So congratulations, Tony. Thank you very much for entering. Thank you everybody for entering and taking part in the last live stream. I think it was easily the most commented on live stream that I've done, which is always handy when you're running a competition. So thank you for that. Thank you for subscribing, those that have subscribed. I have now comfortably passed 500 subscribers. I think I'm now up to 540, so that's good. So channel's continuing to grow, and hopefully I'll get some more videos made. It's I'm still having issues with vlogging style videos, so there may well be more sitting down at desk, this kind of setup, going forward for a while, until I can afford a new camera that will do video, so I can shoot more when I'm out and about. But we'll see how that goes. I think in 2 weeks' time, on September the 8th, is the Landscape Photographers on YouTube UK meetup over in Derwentwater. If you're on Facebook, head over to that group if you want to join in on that. I think I will be going across to meet up with those that are attending, just for a bit of a blather and wander around the lakes if no else. So hopefully get some video of that. Certainly get some shots when I'm over there, because it's it's 4 years since I was last in the lakes. So looking forward to that. So it's something to look forward to. Until then, it's probably just a lot of work to do. So we might as well crack on. Other than that, if I do sound a bit croakier than normal, or a bit more coffee than normal, I do seem to be coming down with a cough and a bit of a cold. So my usual sexy voice is even sexier tonight, and a bit more, a bit more gravelly. So bear with us if I'm grossing out by coughing too much or sniffing too loudly. He says as he coughs. Just bear with us if you can. If not a problem at all. So like I say, just jump on in chat if you want to be conversing on there. Give us a shout. Anything you want to know, anything coming up. The other thing is, where should I press that? Those of you that have very kindly supported me by my Analog Effects Pro 2 presets, thank you very much. They've gone down a treat. Couldn't believe how well they've gone down. So that's been fantastic. They will be obviously be available going forward. They may rise in price after a little while. I did have somebody suggest to me that they were too cheap, and I hope that's only a time limited offer. As he said, he'd already bought it at the price that they're selling at the minute. So I may wait another couple of weeks and then increase the price a little bit on them, just to get one or two of you late stragglers to the cause. Just give you the chance to get them if you wished at a cheaper rate. So basically tonight, in between the coughing and the sniffing, I'm gonna test out more of this live stream, and it's all gonna be images from, well, I'm hoping to get at least 2 images done, because myself and Andrew Atkinson went down to Saltburn on last Tuesday morning. It was all very foggy and a bit miserable and misty and very atmospheric. So I made a good few images there. So tonight's really going to be about processing them, or getting initial processing done. I made one last night just to see how things were coming along, and then later in the day we went up into the moors, mainly to the Westerdale area, I think it was. And basically, I think me and Moorland don't really mix, but I managed to get a few shapes to play with. So we might have a look at one of them, if time allows. Hopefully everything's going to be faster, because this computer's faster, so I might be able to get through more than one image like normal. But because normally I've got to wait half an hour for the computer to wake up and work on. So, excuse me. So let's give this a blast and see if it works. If the sound all of a sudden drops out as I'm switching scenes, then please do just shout on chat. I will try to keep an eye on it. Like I say, tonight's all about working out bugs, seeing if there's any major problems to deal with on the streaming side. Hopefully they'll be fine. So yeah, this shot is the image that I made. Excuse me. The image I made last night, just on the initial bit data that I played with. So I did take some more, different angles of Saltburn Pier. So just gonna look at making maybe one that I've got some data from underneath it, and I think we'll make something out of that initially. See how that comes together. See how much playing around we can do. So that's one plan. I'll just select the ones I've picked out. And as an alternate of this version, I made like an inverted version like this, which I like the colours, but maybe they weren't quite strong enough. Excuse me. More tea vigour. That's better. So maybe that I could this one I probably could do with a bit more. There is something quite nice about it, but I wouldn't say it perfectly, worked amazingly well. So working through these, one issue I did have with Lightroom last night, which might impact tonight, was when I was switching from library module to develop module, Lightroom kept on crashing on me. One of the things I did have to try to do was research why it was all having problems. It did say to not switch off the graphics processor assistant, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Switch that off, and it seems to have been fine since. But if it does shut down, excuse me, if it does crash, then there might well be a bit of to and fro between it, because it was driving me insane last night when it was doing that. So I've got, so you can see, or maybe you can't see from the bottom of the screen, I've got some nice data from underneath the pier, some interesting shapes, mainly from this point. There's the pier, goes out to sea. The tide was quite far out last Tuesday morning, so we got up close and personal with the pier. And one thing I do find is that it's a lot easier with natural structures like stone buildings, hillsides, trees, that kind of thing. I find it easier to make work with that kind of material rather than sharp lines, steel girders, cross beams. There's not a lot of natural flow, so when you're moving the camera around, it is pretty tricky to just to basically decide what is good data and what's not. But when I went through these, I did think there was some nice data amongst it to make images with. Sorry. So that's the intention for today, is to actually see how good some of this is. Yeah, obviously took some of the beach and is it Hunchcliffe or Hinchcliffe? This cliff along to the south of Saltburn. Nice shape, covered in mist that morning. Very nice. Excuse me. So what I'm probably going to look at doing this is to just, because it's it was so misty and pretty dull that morning. It was a very monotone kind of image, even though these are full colour. So I'm going to add in some colour, and also going to tidy up the image as well. So I'm just going to start with this one. This is the point where it probably crashes. Oh no, it didn't. Bonus. So usual things. Of course, Lightroom hasn't been configured since I installed it with my usual tricks and settings, where it automatically shrinks these panels down when you're not using them, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to clean up any dust spots. There's a few major ones in there. The usual major one there, which is always a problem. Get rid of these. Oh, it's flying since with this upgrade. Lovely stuff. Now, you want to come down here. Alright. That'll do. Done. And the landscape should strengthen that a bit. Give that a bit of an automatic colour balance. Actually, you can see it warms that up a touch. Oh, hopefully it does. I'm not convinced I've got my screen calibrated properly yet. I have done it twice already, and each time it's been different. And there's a huge difference between my two monitors as well. I mean, they're different brands and different makes. But the colour, even though they've had the Spider Pro thing on, they are still. There's a massive difference between them. Although I will always trust one over the other. So that's why I do all my main one on my Dell screen here. I'll leave this side one for extra bits. Excuse me. Alright then. The decision here is whether to open up these dark, the main structures with the shadow or not, or whether that's, because really I'm wanting some data to work with later on. I don't want it to be too wishy-washy, otherwise there's going to be very little for things to interact when mixed together, depending on blend modes and things. So decisions like this can be quite important at the minute. Obviously you don't want to go too far because we're already clipping in here. Just when we're reducing the blacks there, you can see that spike in the clipping. Don't want to go too far, because obviously when we blend together, that, you know, we possibly might be using the multiply blend mode, and that's going to have significant issues when blending, and it's, you know, it'll end up turning pure black. So maybe a bit of clarity in here, just to sharpen up some of this structure. Dehaze is a funny one. Had this been an ordinary shot, I would have, and because it was such a misty morning, I would definitely have used the dehaze, but in the negative sense, to add in more haze, just to really enhance the fog and the mist. But for this, it's serving no useful purpose. So I think we'll add in a bit of contrast there. Might even warm that up a bit more, just so there's a bit more colour for the excuse me, a bit more colour for things to cling on to. So I think that'll do for that. I don't know, lens corrections, it's fine. Detail, I think that's what I want. I'm just going to knock out any threat of any ISO noise, so get that noise reduction on there. Get it back on the T. That's probably fine, and now it's just a case of deciding which of these following shots I'm going to use. I think probably that one. So I'm just going to pick these out, so I know, so I can then narrow the selections down further. I'm probably looking to pick out 5 that we'll use. That one. So the mix of lighter images and darker images, just to give us a bit more chance of play. So I'll just select them, so you can see we've got 6 to apply all that to. Just sync all that settings across. Wrong develop module. All those changes will go across on the develop module, not when it's in the library module. Tip number 1: be in the correct module. This machine is a little bit slower on the rendering front, so we will chuck those into Photoshop as layers. I'll process those through. Excuse me. So if you've got anything to say, just shout in chat, don't be shy. We're all friends here. There's no silly questions or out like that. Phone ringing. I can ignore it though. Right, and select all these. We'll just have a bit filter through of the blend modes to see what delights Photoshop are going to send our way. So the one I made last night, I used the light and blend mode, which, as you can see from here, probably isn't the right one unless I do some manoeuvring of the layers. So it may well be one of these, more subtle blended, something like overlay or soft light. That's not too bad. So it's all through there. So excuse me. Some multiply there is looking quite dreary. Very, very dark. So I think there's nothing immediately pushing us at the dark and blend modes. So I think we'll look at something like soft light here, and just drop a few layers just to see how that affects things. So immediately I can see straight away that this layer probably isn't helping any of the blending, so we can probably get rid of that one. That one's a good strong shape there. There's detail in the excuse me. There's detail in the handrails. Good strong body. There's plenty. That you can see the structure right from the front to back. And it's just a case of what blends nicely with that. So this one here is probably starting to bring in a softer shape here, which isn't, I would say, isn't ideal. That one's probably darkening things a bit too much. But this one here, adding this in, it keeps a lot of that detail up here, but also doubles it up, just to make so it makes it a bit more interesting. I mean, we can maneuver it so it overlays a bit better, but I'm not sure that is doing it any favours. So we'll just put that back to where it was. That looks quite nice. Obviously it's dark in this bottom corner. I'm not too concerned about it being dark up here, because get the effect that you're right underneath the pier, and it is going to be darker overhead, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I think by taking out, or certainly part of maybe two of these layers, just with a mask and just with the gradient tool, it's the wrong way around as usual, which I always do, and probably this one as well. Mask that off as well. Just lightens that a touch. Actually, it's lightened it not much. There, that's probably a bit better. A bit more definition there. One thing I'm wondering about is this shape here that come from, and that actually comes from the base, this base layer. I'm not sure if that's a distraction or whether it's something that could be enhanced upon in the next stage. So I think we'll just leave it as is. Yeah, so I'm just going to jettison these layers, stick them in the bin. Excuse me. Stick in a wee curve. Break that. I wanted to go that way. That way. Just a touch away from the corner, so we're not getting too much black. And you got a bit of leeway in the middle there. Clear that. I think there's something to work with there. It may be that it ends up just being a square crop, but that's could almost give you the effect that it's dawn. Maybe it's before sunrise. There's no there's obviously a very bright area here, brighter than any other part of the image, so that I could simulate where the sun was rising from, but like a very sepia toned kind of scene. So I think we'll stick that all into Analog Effects Pro and see what this spits out. A reminder to upgrade later. I would have done this the other day, but it wanted to, after having downloaded 350 megs of it, it wanted to do it again. I thought, new chance. So obviously here's the presets that are available through my pack of presets, and the ones I use all the time. Start my images off with. Just looking through here, just wonder if there's anything that immediately strikes something off the top of my head. No. Have a look at autumn. Autumn fall is always a favourite. Losing a lot of definition here, but this is probably just to do with location of the top layer. Let me spin this around a bit, probably get some nicer effects. I mean, obviously one issue is that with this we do have a lot less, with it being such a light image, and there's only a small area of the image that's got some darkness about it. Then the light and darkness, interaction, it is always going to be pretty light, so the image is going to be pretty much wiped out. So it's just about finding subtle areas on the overlay that will give you a bit nice effect. Just to give a hint of how things lie. Not too bad. I think we can probably look at some colour work once I'm happy with the location of this top layer, positioning of it. And if I am thinking about this area being a sun, where the sun is rising from, it may well have been from there. I'm not sure, but it was that thick of fog you couldn't see now. When I took the images, so we could highlight that. Excuse me. We could highlight that point by almost making the sand reflective of a similar light source. It's that kind of thing you can think about. And just moving this around until you can find some balance in the image. It's almost looking at completely recomposing something. Just making an image. See, something like that I think quite nice, even though I'm thinking already that I would trim off, whether it's a good whack of that side, because I quite like the colour up here. It's almost an off blue, but I'm not really liking it from that point, this point left. I think if that was trimmed off, then it would be a stronger image leading in, almost so the piers just disappearing into the atmosphere. So it's just a case of just small adjustments. The bonus of this new machine, it's actually doing it pretty quickly. It's not move it 3 pixels and wait 10 seconds for it to render, which is nice. Very nice indeed. Actually, it's like something like that. Let me have a look. Yeah. So hopefully my monitor calibration is okay and it doesn't look terrible. I'll probably only know once I actually get it away from this and onto another device. So possibly on Instagram later or such. Just check these. I'll just get away from the rectangle. Yeah, keep this lens vignette. Have the centre down here so it's darkening up this area. Yeah, it's not too bad. Colour wise, these like that. You can see here, flicking between this, there's a bit of green a bit green starting to appear in here. Well, it is to my eyes anyway. So, just going to look at adjusting that, which I may actually do in Viveza because there's a bit more control in that. So I think really, as purely going on getting the overlay, I'm quite happy with that. So I'll just confirm that. That'll go back into Photoshop, and I'll send it into Viveza, and then we'll do some colour adjustments in there. So straight into Viveza. Hello new viewers, I see the numbers ticking in. Do say hello and chat if you've just come in. We're all very sociable in here, or we should be. Just expand this so I can see what I'm doing. Well seen, I've never opened this since I rebuilt it. And why is all this all down? It's because it didn't give you all the things. So just a small adjustment. It's really this area here is a bit too much green in for me. So just adding a couple of control points just to take the edge of that green off. Just expand that a bit. I'm calling it green, it's probably not actually green, it just looks a bit a sickly yellowy kind of colour. I'll take a bit of that off. Select all them. Probably add in it's really adding in kind of a blue to compensate. That's a bit. Probably adding in generally a bit. There's probably a bit too much warmth there. Side of their structure, add in structure. Knock the brightness down a bit. Yeah, about there. Red. Don't want to go too red. That. Just contemplating it. Yeah. That was a split view. That was what before. Yeah, that's not too bad. Actually, yeah. I'd say that's a definite improvement. I think actually it looks like it's darker than that. I know I did decrease the brightness. I think that's excuse me. That was darkening it nicely up there. It's hard to tell with these studio lights. Right in my face. So it's one of them things I might have to Hi Stephen. Good to see you again. Yeah, the contrast between the lights just out above my screen here, I'm struggling to see properly. So it's one of them things I may tinker with once the stream's over and I haven't got the lights on. So yeah, the only thing is I'm thinking this needs to be darker in here. So I might just drop in. That'll just affect just that. get that up there. What do you think? Was that too strong there? I think it was the colour that was wrong, to be honest. No, not that one. That looks better, I think. Put one of these further down. Make it a smaller radius. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do, Shep. Yep. Okay. I think it does actually have the look about it where another run through with Analog Effects Pro 2 might make an even better image. But for the moment, I think that'll do, because I would like to have a look at some of my data from the moors, because I did think that had gone very, very badly. So it'd be nice if I could actually make something out of for that. So I'll just save that down. This machine's still pretty slow on saving, but that's maybe his hard drive speed. Again, apologies for the coughing and the sniffing. I'm feeling a bit not 100%. The voice is a lot more gravelly than usual, and it's pretty gravelly then. Right, see, was that? Shut that down. Lightroom, so I've got that 3 stars because it's done. Alright, deselect all these. There's probably a fast way of unpicking them. I never use pick very much, so there's probably a very, very fast way of doing this, but thankfully I only did it to 6 of them, so come here. A little brighter, right. So down to the further on, see some of this other data. I'll go to the library module, be faster. There's there's a few scenes that looked quite appealing, but didn't. I'll work on these. They may or may not see the light of day. And then we went up into the moors, and after a lot of driving around, I found a nice little grove. I think I do need a monitor hood, John. Yeah, you're right. A very big one. It only really happens during the live streams because I've got to have these lights on. Because it's terribly dark in here. And the lighting, the normal lighting's configured badly to suit the desk. So yeah, they found this little area next to a stream, and it looked really nice when we're in it. And it probably would look really nice if you're Simon Baxter or whatever. But I'm not. So did a lot of wobbling in it. Yeah, that's the kind of scene it looked like. Very pretty. Just it was hard to get any moving data. So I'll probably play with a few later as time rolls on. But at the minute, it wasn't great data. And then we ended up on the top of a hill, or near the top of a hill, looking down onto the over on the other moors and looking down, and got some shapely bit data, I would call this. And really when you're up that high, everything just looks flat, which is my excuse for not walking up hills. I'm much happier on the bottom in the valleys, because you've got lovely shapes to play with. When you're up on the top of a hill, everything looks flat, so you've got to create your shapes by moving the camera. And as you can see, I mean, this line was dead straight basically, so I've managed to get a bit of shape along here,
again here. You can see how straight the landscape was. So just by moving the camera, I've managed to capture an initial line, and then moving the camera, it's given it a downslope as well. So some of this is pretty pretty terrible data to play with. These are the better ones that I've picked out. So, you know, I'm not hopeful for this. There was a tree which I did shoot as well here, which to me these kind of shapes do help it better, but still bloody tricky. So a lot of it, I mean, something like that is to me this is a good shot. It was that poor. So it's really just a case of going to try to blend some of these together, just really to make a shape. So maybe pick that one, that one, that one. Yeah, I think that'll do. Then 4. These are going to be pretty grotty. Excuse me. Thingy preset. Come on. Catch up. Not that one. Yeah, go for that. Can't be bothered wait for it to render. So do that. Dust spots. Just that one there, really. Reasonably clean. Come on, computer. Done. Alright. We detail again, knock out the ISO. There we are, noise reduction. Just make sure it's alright. The auto, see what that's going to go very red. Yeah. That's fine, really. That's good. Nah. We'll keep it on colour. Actually, give it a touch. I just want to kill this green. Really, I'm not a green fan. Right. Excuse me. Lens corrections. Just make they're fine. We'll just sync them across. Bum these across into Photoshop. There's layers. That tea will be cooled by now. My old F-Stop lounge mug, which I used to be part of. If anybody remembers that, or if it was even big enough for anybody to know about. I was around when F-Stop Lounge started off with some Google Plus friends, leader pros down in Australia somewhere, wherever he's based now, and Andre Apple over in Germany. They were the guys that started off. I think I was around when they were thinking of it, so it lasted a little while. Somebody did buy it out. Not sure what's going on with it now, but those were happy days. Something like this, just almost my representation of the North York Moors. There you go. You do something like that, call it art. Or even with this, because it's a slightly different, if you between lighter colour and lighten, you can see there's a little bit of a difference. Not a great one, but just enough. I think it's just in the greens. I could go wild and play with something. Start off with this kind of blend mode. So I think I'm quite taken with that lighten mode, just to make sure. Light and colour. The light and colour, I'd say it's created this harsh line here, which isn't that pleasant. So maybe just go with ordinary lighting, even though it's got that purple fringe there, which isn't ideal, but something that could excuse me, can be dealt with. Maybe it's adding a layer of colour, something yellowish. Of course, I haven't set my Photoshop up properly. That's the eraser tool. Where's the flood tool? For God's no, that's the wrong button. I thought that was the extension. Paint bucket. There we go. Hue. That makes it very brown actually. Yeah, it's a bit pointless actually having that layer in. Jettison that idea. So we'll start with that and go to Analog Effects Pro. Well, even when everything was rendering there, the machine was registering at 16 frames a second, which is pretty good, because when I was doing it before it was about 3 whenever it was busy doing something. So this is certainly, hopefully, a huge improvement. Certainly for getting, for putting the output out there. The presenting, as usual, can be left a lot to be desired, or a lot to be improved on. Just continue. Some interesting shapes appearing here, different in the presets. Something I would like to. Excuse me. So you can do a lot. You can do something quite interesting with this. Obviously, that's that. You know, this is my representation of the North York Moors. It's one of the advantages of doing this type of work. It doesn't need to look what it looks like. It's just an interpretation. I like the way it started off. Look at that again. That's quite a nice start to be honest. This is a little bit of blue, you know, this kind of area of blue here. Do like the mix of blue. Don't need motion blue, or maybe I do. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Vignette. Yeah, this wants to be darker because it was a kind of a dullish day. Darken this up later. Actually, brightness is very bright. Bring that down now. That kind of knocks the balance off a bit though, doesn't it? The film type is quite weak. Add that up. Faded will take that harshness out of there. It's good. retain some of that blue there. Something like that, but darker. There. Okay. Just going to reset that. Bring that down, dull it off quite a bit. The impression it was a very sunny day, which it was. It was beautiful when I took this. Took this data. Far too nice to be taking ICM. Battling with the bright sunshine. And blue. There we go. Now we're talking. Not so much pink though. Okay, right. Now darken that right off. We'll go back a bit and see how. 5% maybe darkness. Yeah. That'll do, that'll do, that'll do. Don't want to keep you too long. Oh, so am I, Stephen. As you can probably tell from my work, it's all about the oranges and browns. Just can't get away from them. I can start an image off that's bright blue, and I'll still end up turning it bleeding orange and brown. I just can't get away from it. I mean, this was bright green when I started off. Right, Vivier's got to change the colour a bit. Anyway, yeah. Introduce some on green back. Let's go full on can blue. Just warm it up a wee amount. Not that all enough. What I really should be doing is turning it purple, because there was quite a bit of heather out on it. But nah. Not as dark as that. Structure. How's that? There's not a lot of balance to the image there, but I don't really care, because I might just square crop it, I think, or long and thin. Maybe just square crop in the middle here, or a 2x1 long image. I think that will do for this one. We'll save that back into Lightroom. Hopefully it will actually go into Lightroom. When I was working on images last night, it wasn't automatically putting them back into the catalogue after I'd been working on them in Photoshop, which was annoying. Teething problems, we'll get over them. It's early days with the new machine and the new setup and the new installations of everything. So these things will improve. And while that's saving, while I remember, for all I've been doing this for how many months? 4 months? It took until 3 weeks ago until somebody well, somebody, namely my best mate who came to see us, who isn't a photographer at all, but has for some reason subscribed to my channel. It's very nice of him. Pointed out, like, do you realise you've spelt Tuesday wrong? And I'm like, no. And nobody else had mentioned it. So, excuse me whilst my mic goes off for a split second. And if you look back on previous streams, like everything before now, that opening screen, Tuesday, didn't have an E in it. And nobody said anything. So you lot are a bunch of very observant ones, or like to keep you, or didn't want to say anything. So I've now rectified it, recreated all my stuff. So it now says Tuesday and it's spelt right. So there we go. I think we'll shut that down there. Back in Lightroom, create. Actually, mark that as 3. Defend it. Create a virtual copy. Crop 2x1 crop. Jobs are good. There we're gone. And this one, a square crop. Probably a bit more thought in this one. Where does it go? A bit dark there. Maybe it's about there. Something like that. There we go, 2 shots. Instagram and somewhere else. That'll probably be the actual full version I would put out. So my initial... Yes, we're all very observant, aren't we? Either that or we can't spell, Stephen. So there we go, that's my initial interpretation of the North York Moors. Hope you like that shot, and hope you've enjoyed the stream. So yeah, basically we should, unless this machine falls over, we'll be back. I'll be back every Tuesday going forwards. And like I say, if you are going to the landscape photographers on YouTube UK meetup in Derwentwater in well, basically, was it 10 days time? I think it's September the 8th or something like that. I should be there. I'm intending going, unless something changes. But yeah. So until then, I think that'll do for tonight. Thank you for watching. It's been enjoyable, if a little nerve-wracking, and quite quite coffee and strenuous on the throat. But I hope you've enjoyed my gravelly voice today. I've enjoyed being back online, and I've enjoyed this faster machine. Well, I can edit faster. Great. Well, edit and stream faster. I could edit fast enough before, but streaming wise, it just slowed everything right down. So it's been very enjoyable. So thanks again to Rob for supplying me with my new computer. It's not new. It's new to me. It's still, I think it's about 4 or 5 years old. But it's still it's a lot newer than what my old one was, and a lot more advanced. So thank you to Rob. Thank you to Rob and his lovely lady Karen for their hospitality last week. And thank you to Andrew for accompanying me down to Saltburn, and then up onto the moors later on in the day last Tuesday, which meant I had some content for tonight. Congratulations again to Tony. If you missed the announcement, he won my giveaway print thing for getting to 500 subscribers. So it is all good. Thank you for watching. My presets are available if you're interested. Grab them soon before the price goes up, because they may well do. And until next time, which will be next Tuesday, and I may well make the odd video between now and then. Maybe. Hopefully I'll be out and shooting some more data though. So it may well, hopefully it won't be Saltburn and the North York Moors again next week. But you never know, it might be. Hopefully I'll not be coughing and spluttering and sniffing, and my voice will have improved again by then. So yes, must say goodbye. Thank you again for watching. Please do like, share, subscribe, hit the thumbs up and all that kind of thing. Leave a comment below the video if you've enjoyed it. And until next week, we'll see you then. See ya.